ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Flatout Racing Network's continued coverage of the Rolling Thunder Gaming Talladega Challenge Series. Normally, ladies and gentlemen, under normal circumstances, we would be elated to begin this final round of the playoffs that has quite a number of storylines coming into it, but during the course of just the last 12 hours, the entire RTG community received some very sad news, as just moments ago, the entirety of the drivers that will take the green flag here tonight were gathered around this in memory of number 3 decal here, just past the tri-oval, just before the start-finish line, near the exit of pit road. As you can see, the number 003 prominently in the middle of that decal, as this morning we received the sad news that David Cannon, better known to this community as Bones, had passed away at the age of 63. Here tonight, we are going to be doing a number of things in tribute to the legacy, the racing career, the memory, the adminship, the administration of this series of David Cannon. Sean Prime, a good friend, fellow admin of Rolling Thunder Gaming, will be doing the driving duties of this legendary number 003 car here tonight, and we will do our best here in the booth to try and keep the situation as light as possible. But here tonight, I think more so these drivers, yes, they're racing for a championship, they're racing for an opportunity to win this season's trophy, but here tonight, more of a racing in memorial and in the honor and memory of one David Cannon. I'm Seth Cole, alongside of Michael Norman, Kyle Matthews. Guys, not the situation that we were expecting to be in coming into tonight. I guarantee you, the drivers, the admins here tonight, same situation for them. But I think the biggest thing that I can take away from this right now is the sense of community, camaraderie, the coming together of this group here around the tragic circumstances.
Yeah, every time something like this happens, you can see exactly how loved somebody is when in a community like this. And when for these people have been racing on this game since it came out 20 plus years ago, and it warms my heart to see just exactly how much everybody cares about one another in the league. Everyone always says it's just a video game, but this is how you make friends. This is how you earn, make friends that can last a lifetime here.
See everybody gathering around that logo again here. Just, man, this is quite a sight.
It definitely is. We are going to have the opportunity here. You can see the car prominently there in the center of the decal. We mentioned Sean Prime going to be doing the driving duties of that machine here tonight. We are going to have the opportunity here to talk with him, as he'd like to say a few words before we get the festivities underway. Let's see if we can dial up the driver of that machine here tonight, Sean Prime.
User was moved to your channel.
Hey Sean, it's the guys up here in the FRM booth. You got a copy?
I do, guys.
Well, we are overwhelmed from the sight here, seeing this sense of community with everybody gathered around this legendary 003. We've talked about the hard task you've got here tonight of piloting that machine around, not only for the race itself, but we've got the upcoming tribute laps as well. We understand that you wanted to say a few words. We're going to turn it right over to you, my friend.
Thank you, guys. I know we have a broadcast and a race to run. David's family is here with us. They're actually even in TeamSpeak with us, and they're listening to this. But we just wanted to thank everybody. This community is awesome. We know it. The outpouring of support is incredible. We've all lost, our mayor, our community stalwart, our conscience, our buddy. He had a deep personal relationship with every single person. That's the guy he was, selfless to the end. We're going to honor him the best way we know how. I apologize and pray it goes okay with us, and we're going to commiserate tomorrow some more. But I just really want to thank everybody here. You see what's going on the track, and it's kind of getting me, supposed to not be stressed for my own medical test tomorrow, but sorry, David, that's just going to have to wait. I'll just say this, you know, of my good friend, for all the souls I have encountered in my life, David's was the most genuine, just a great guy. And I'll kick it back to you guys. I apologize to Mrs. Thank you to, you know, everybody, and we're just going to try to do our friend right.
Well, again, do not be afraid to show emotion. It's an extremely emotional time, Sean. We wish you the best of luck here tonight. Again, you know, as we stated, something completely out of the blue. The fact that all this has been able to be organized in the short amount of time in preparation for tonight's race, I think, also speaks to the sense of community as well, from the graphics we've been able to use here tonight to the organization of what we're going to see here this evening. We wish you the best of luck here, my friend, and you know, we'll be pulling for you, pulling for this legendary machine. We'll be keeping an eye on it the entirety of the night.
Thank you, guys. That just shows the love for this man. They jumped right away like they always do, and just the appreciation, and that's who he was. Thank you, guys. Really, thanks.
That's Sean Prime. He'll be doing the driving duties here tonight of that gold, black,
User
and
was moved out
silver
of your channel.
003 with the RTG logo prominently there on the hood. Want to give a shout out as well to Rodney Sullins. You saw the logo there before we came on the air. You can see it prominently featured here in the lower right of the screen. He was the one that very quickly was able to efficiently put this graphic together here tonight in honor and memory of David Bones Cannon. And I can just say, guys, from a personal standpoint as well, you know, Jessica Shelton was very instrumental in introducing, bringing together of RTG and FRN, and it's been a tremendous partnership. David and I have been in numerous talks during the course of, what has this been now, 4+ years that this partnership has gone on. As Sean said, truly genuine individual. Had the opportunity to speak with David back this past Monday. It was the last time that I was able to talk with him. It's incredible, too, because we talk about this sense of community, and obviously we're seeing what's happening here in Rolling Thunder Gaming, but I have seen all day in other different groups, other different racing leagues, the coming together of other people that have maybe formerly raced here in RTG, have known David Cannon through the community itself, whether it be inside or outside of RTG. There were a couple of drivers that I noticed that in an entirely other league are running this special decal that Rodney Sullins designed. It's amazing how the sense of community, camaraderie, the coming together exceeds outside of a league or an organization where the individual was most prominently featured has passed away from.
Yeah, and it's, you know, like you said, you know, the 2 races I ran when you guys were out of town on your Indy trip, he actually kind of got with me when I was a little nervous about making the field because I wasn't a locked-in race car. Me and him, we talked for just a little bit, you know, trying to get down like how to qualify and make sure, and calming me down and make sure I was good to go and everything when the race came along. So I may not have known him for as long as everyone else in the league has, but just that little bit, you know, showed a lot to me, and I'm very happy to have known David, and even in a small capacity. But you know, even a small capacity can go a long way.
See Brian
Pretty cool
Schilling there
gesture. Yep.
doing
I was about to.
burnout number 3 right there. We're going to race. Man, I hope that stays there the whole race. Hope that doesn't disappear. Well, these drivers are going to be gridded up here, ladies and gentlemen. And we have been told that they will be doing 2 formation laps, running them under pacing. When lap 3 begins, they will fire up the engines, and we will be having a silent first lap here tonight on lap number 3 in memory of David Cannon. We're not going to take you through the starting lineup here tonight just so that way we don't run into when these drivers roll off the grid. We're going to let these 2 laps play out. We'll be silent for the 3rd lap. We'll resume commentary once that 3rd lap is completed. and we'll fill you in on the situation in terms of who's battling in the final round of the championship and everything here in just a few moments. But we are going to, for the time being, we are going to step away from Mike's side. We are going to let this formation play out as we pause in remembrance of David Bones Cannon. On behalf of the Flatout Racing Network, we'd like to send out our heartfelt thoughts and condolences to the family of David Cannon, who we understood from Sean Prime just before these parade laps and going green are in the TeamSpeak here tonight to listen to the banter and camaraderie of the drivers here this evening. As Sean Prime, deservedly so, leading here in the early stages of this race.
Yeah, the nice and smooth first 2 laps here so far, and that third lane on the outside already trying to make its move. I believe that will be the 4 of Brian Schilling. I think that's on the leading that third lane up there.
Yes, it is. That bright blue AC Delco. I believe that's a Chevrolet.
You are correct. Looks like Chuck McClure up there with him. Chuck McClure, one of the final 5. Yes, you heard correctly. Final 5 that are competing for the championship here in these final 2 races of the season. Tonight at Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway. Next week, the season finale at Talladega. Big reason for that was during the course of post-race review, it was deemed that Ulysses Sandoval did cause the wreck. Coming to the caution was EOL'd and docked a lap. That moved Brian Schilling to the race victory last week. Schilling winning his way into this final round. And the final spot, the 4th position, would have been a tie for 5th. With Ulysses being EOL'd, it then made it a tie for 4th, which put both Josh Metallic and Rodney Sullins into this final 5, along with the aforementioned Schilling, Jeremy Jeffries, and Chuck McClure. 4 of those drivers have won the championship at least once here in the Talladega Challenge Series. Rodney Sullins is the one looking for his first championship of his Talladega Challenge career.
Yep, and it's going to be all about battling and getting yourself into prime positions. Remember, it's not just a one race top finisher as the champion. No, you've got 2 races to accumulate points.
This group has been hit hard the last year and a half. It started first with the loss of Robbie Nisus, then a member of their administration team here for the Tally Challenge, Wiley Coate, and now David Cannon. I can't imagine. I believe I've been a part of maybe 1 memorial race, but that was a long time ago, and I can't really recollect the feelings. I can't imagine the sense of what you go through mentally, emotionally on those pacing laps, and then the green flag flies and you have to automatically switch over to racing.
Yeah, it's definitely very tough. It would be the same, just like any, that you would see out there. It's tough to make that switch, but you know that you've got a job to do, and for some of these people, you've got a championship to win.
Battle for the lead here.
Jessica Shelton jumping low on Sean Prime, finding some momentum on that inside line with Graham McDonald. Here comes that third line. They've been working the last couple of laps, and they've got Schilling now up 3 wide for the lead. Stack them up 3 abreast. Chevy bow ties into turn 3.
Well, you talked about that 4 of Brian Schilling here a couple laps ago, Michael. Man, they really made up a lot of ground on that outside line. I mean, I didn't really notice it until I just happened to look up and see Schilling going for the lead. So, man, they're really working well together on that outside. Looks like Jessica's going to lead this lap here.
The 9, yep, going to lead the lap here and lead the inside. But remember when they go 3 wide here, while the very outside lane is preferably the place to be off the corners. Unfortunately, if they're still a middle lane, it really gives the inside lane the momentum. And you can see that happening here. You got Jess, you've got Graham, you've got Randy.
For those that are wondering, we are having slight issues with our ticker not loading. Oh, whoa, hold the phone.
Oh, there's a big wreck.
Big wreck off of turn number 4. Several cars up and into the air. Keith Bynum is upside down. Another driver was upside down as well. It might have been the Crown Royal 26 of Billy Elliser. Terry Bombard was in it. Elliser's day may be done as smoke billows out from underneath that Dark Horse Mustang. You got Ken Roberts, Robert Spring, Jeff Crivello, Doug Hewlick all back here. Some may have been involved, some may have been able to whoa up just in time. Grant Wesley back here in the 88, who was eliminated from the playoffs last week.
And our resident llama.
In it. He was definitely upside down, and that car is still somehow running.
And our resident llama was able to stop, pretty much just slam on the brakes.
I was going to mention with that ticker, we were going to try and find an opportune time to try and reset it and see if we could have it up for everybody here. Looks like maybe under this caution period, we'll be able to do just that. So we'll first jump back and take a look at the replay of what went down, and then we'll try and do a little maintenance here before getting ourselves back to green. This caution coming out on lap number 9. Let's try and figure out how it starts. We'll watch the 63 of Keith Bynum. Ooh, 82 of Craig Hagley in that middle line might have pushed up into him.
I think he was coming down, and then I think it was both of one going one way, one going the other. Because that was definitely pretty close.
Saw Josh Metallic back behind all that. I think he got through, one of our playoff drivers. Let's see if TV2.
Let's see, TV2, yeah. Let's see, go slow motion here, and let's see, because I think that he kind of just, if you watch this, he kind of starts to come down the track a little bit. Right here.
Following the 193 of Jovan Anderson, who's the only car we can't see tonight. May have submitted the car late, but I wasn't notified that there was a late submission, so apologies for that. Bob Dixon involved, Terry Bombard. Yeah, there's Metallic. He just squeaked through. Joe DeSpirito as well.
88. Yep, getting involved in it. Down there, the 7-Eleven.
Looked like the 63 maybe thought he was clear or something there, but
may have been watching out the windshield there, following the line of the car in front of him, not realizing that there was a car to his inside.
Yep, and that happens a lot more times than it doesn't. Usually you get turned for mirror driving, but this time it was getting turned because you're driving out the windshield.
We're going to try and do a quick reset here of the ticker, everyone, so just bear with us. Hopefully it works here. I'm not certain if it's going to, but fingers crossed.
Seth and all of his technical difficulties.
They happen. Alright, it looks like that is a no-go. I believe the only way that we'd be able to get it to work to reset is if we ended up restarting OBS, which we're obviously not going to do. So it looks like, unfortunately, we're not going to have the ticker available here tonight. We'll at least have the lap counter for all of you, and we'll try and keep you aware of where those playoff drivers all are running.
That could be old Bones messing with us.
Could very well be. Want to shout out everybody that's been here in our chat, sending out their condolences and their love for David Cannon. Very early on, we had Blaine Donlin, Tarnation TV, Jeffrey Elliott, Mitch Bombard, Benjamin Snyder, Brian Wolf over at Fluid Studios, Jeff Supta as well. I believe that's Doug Maluski we've got there in our chat as well. Thank you to all of you. As mentioned,
here. Go ahead, Seth.
We mentioned that the family of David Cannon is in the TeamSpeak here tonight. They are watching the broadcast here as well. It's great to see this this sense of coming together here, even if it's in our chat here tonight on this broadcast.
It's just informed here by our race leader. Our race leader there in the 9 car. She said that David Cannon was the reason she's in RTG.
And I'm sure that's the case probably for a number of these drivers. As a matter of fact, I ended up seeing believe it was yesterday, Donnie Garrett, who is in the field here tonight, was having some issues with getting NR to load up. And from what I understand, it was David Cannon took him aside and helped him out to be able to take part in tonight's event. And that was less than 24 hours ago. David was always one of those people to go out of his way, make sure that everybody was squared away, set to go. Very good at organizing. That's why RTG is as successful as it is. You know, there's a lot of other admins here that run leagues, that are admins in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night races. Jeremy Jeffries and Tim Nofsker and Josh Metallic. Sean Prime, a big part of administration as well, but you ask any one of them who the heart and soul of RTG was, and they will tell you unanimously it was David Cannon. Lap 13 going to go on the board. Lap 12 completed as Jessica Shelton elects the outside line here for this restart. Brian Lovell will be to her inside with Graham McDonald, Denny Carroll, and Randy Waugh.
Luigi.
Your top 5.
Sorry, it's definitely a very somber Luigi today.
Jason
You
Scheck
mentioned
in our chat as well.
You mentioned the race leader, and the name says Jessica Shelton, but here recently, she has gotten married.
She has.
So
if I
she
recall
is now
correctly, it was last Thursday, I
Thursday.
believe.
Yes. Yeah. So she is now Jessica Lauralee.
There you go.
That's gonna take a long time for me to get used to.
You're 1 for 1. Last week I was 0 for 2, so you're up on me.
She's a good friend of mine. I've known her for 10 years. That is going to take some time for me to get used to.
Same.
But... So congratulations to her on that as she continues to lead this thing.
Looking back, it looks like Keith Bynum, involved in that wreck, has retired from the race. Everybody else continuing on. Not only is our ticker not working, but apparently my standings are also not working. So we are...
Rodney Solon's on the apron.
Oh, so yeah, someone just got moved onto the apron there. Ulysses now on the top line here. You know, we talked about the situation with him and being EOL'd after the last caution. We are, yes.
Yeah, that might be why we saw them fanning out there as frozen field under yellow. And Mike Mangialardi down on the apron here going into 3.
Mike Manham having a party.
Billy Elliser's back here as well, though I assume the engine damage he had, it got repaired, but certainly won't be up to speed. Doug Hulick back here also in the 23. You know the 029 was involved in the wreck, but was it just him or anybody else collected up? Let's take a look. Angelardi was towards the rear of the field. I don't think the wreck actually had occurred until after the incident up there at the front with Sullins. Yeah, everybody starts fanning out. And then Doug Hulick goes up into the wall, gets a tap from Robert Breedlove, and comes down into the right rear quarter panel of the 029. So let's go to the chopper cam and see if we can figure out what happened with that stack up right in the middle of the field. Let's look ahead. We're focused on the 38 of Rodney Sullins. Oh, big stack up.
Yeah, that right there. Big stack up right there, yep.
Jeremy Jeffries into the back of the 21 of Randy Waugh.
Luigi.
And that sent him back into Rodney Sullins, and then everybody fanning out to avoid, and it ripple affected all the way back to the rear of the field.
That's all it takes a lot of times. Just one little one little thing can happen, everyone reacts to it, and that's how you get a wreck.
And the information with how close they're racing with each other, it doesn't always get back to the rear of the field in time. Looks like some driver's going to elect to stay out here. Most of the field came down pit road just to top off the fuel.
That's what I would think they're doing now, yeah. Some of these guys that stayed out, I think, are staying out this time. I think they pit on the original caution. I believe it said. So you said your stats aren't working either?
No.
Now we can't tell.
When I did the reset for the ticker, I lost my stats as well. They were up prior, but the attempt to restart the ticker, and they're currently gone. They possibly could come back if I restarted NR, but I really don't want to do that. I mean, I guess I could put us just into a quick race break.
I mean, that's ultimately up to you, sir.
I mean, regardless, it's not going to bring the ticker back, so I can go without the stat sheet for one night.
I agree.
So some split strategy here is mentioned. Looks like Ulysses Sandoval or Jessica Shelton back there may have been the first one off pit road. Looks like it was Jess. So it looks like a total of, eyeballing it here, 10 drivers elected to stay out. We had only run maybe about a lap to a lap and a half under green, so there's not a whole lot of difference between what's in the fuel tank of those that stayed out and those that elected to come to pit road. Looks like a couple of them going to come down this second lap of pacing.
I was just about to say, what is Cody doing that close to the front?
He was waiting to come down pit road. That's exactly what he was doing.
Biding his time. Coming off a runner-up finish last week. Finished third,
That he doesn't.
but the official results had him second.
I was going to say, yeah, that he didn't even expect to be there. He cleared that big wreck and was just like, oh, hey, look where I'm at.
We mentioned Brian Schilling coming into tonight with that victory last week that locked him into this final round of the playoffs. He's going to be keeping an eye out on the bright blue number 10 of Terry Bombard this evening, as we are now into the finals of the bracket challenge. Here tonight, if Terry Bombard is able to finish ahead of Brian Schilling, Schilling will get a rematch against him next week. However, if Brian Schilling finishes ahead of the 10 car here tonight, Brian Schilling will officially be the Season 65 Talladega Challenge Series bracket champion.
You'd go back to back. That
series bracket. Series bracket. Don't you mean bracket series?
I almost got the words in order. Okay.
Has that ever happened? Has anyone ever gone back to back in the bracket?
I believe so. I believe Joe DeSpirito may have been the last driver to do that. I'd have to double check here. They do have those statistics. I'll have that information for you here in a minute, Kyle.
Alrighty.
He's going to do some digging.
Had Brian Wolf in our chat saying that back when he raced here, season 46 RTG, lost another great in Rusty Little. If I recall correctly, Rusty drove the 102 car back in the day, and that has been retired here in RTG as well. Got the lights out. We're getting ready to go back green flag racing here. It's going to be Denny Carroll, the race leader. As we get ready to get back underway, Brian Lovell will line up to his outside. Graham McDonald, Randy Waugh,
Luigi,
and Donnie Garrett, going to be the top 5. Green flag back in the air. Fuel window a little different for some of these drivers at the front, as opposed to drivers restarting back in the latter half of the top 10 to the rear of the field.
Well, you mentioned fuel strategies. I'm having flashbacks to the last time they raced here at BSR here 2 weeks ago. That crazy finish that we had. I think we had like a half a dozen lead changes on the last lap.
So I took the opportunity to look back, Kyle. I was correct. It was Joe DeSpirito, the last driver to win the bracket challenge back-to-back seasons 59 and 60.
Wow. Well, it's been a little bit since that's happened, but
Nice to see Joe
Brian
in the field
Schilling
here
and-
tonight. We haven't seen him for a while. That
Yeah,
black
I
and yellow
was-
24 on that outside line. You see him right back there behind Jeremy Jeffries.
Missed a few races last season, but in the playoffs, he won 2 or 3 races there. I was wondering what happened to him there. I don't know if just scheduling didn't work out for him or what, but it is nice to see him in the field.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, it's we all of us as racers know that real life scheduling comes into play here. It's always nice whenever we are able to get a break to race online with our friends, and you know, after being absent for a while, you know, we all know as people that life gets stressful, and this is one way to unwind when you're playing with your friends. So it's like I said, it's nice to have him back going through here's. Now Chuck McClure going to go to the inside of that Jif peanut butter Chevrolet.
Kelly Causey getting shuffled out of line there. Tries to find his way back in there, not able to. Jeff Crivello now to the bottom.
Donnie
Elliot
Garrett making
May.
it 3 wide.
Yeah, he and Jessica Shelton down there. Graham McDonald, Ulysses Sandoval down there as well. 3 wide right now for around 7th, 8th position as the top 6 single file in the middle line. First start of the season here tonight for Jovan Anderson. That bright green generic car.
Being pushed by another bright green car.
That being Grant Wesley, who was caught up in that first wreck off of turn 4. Doesn't appear to have gotten very much damage, and right behind him is Sean Prime in that 003. I talk about this all the time. We're supposed to be unbiased up here in the booth, but can you imagine how cool it would be to see Sean Prime, who's picked up a victory already this season, to
Right
see
here
that
at BSR.
003 go to victory lane here tonight? Like,
Yeah, that would be
it's
pretty
like
awesome.
be like a movie script.
It would be.
That finish I talked about, the fuel mileage, it was Sean Prime that won that
Yes,
race.
it was. Denny Carroll continues to lead, but that third line, that inside line, they're starting to swallow up the tail end of this middle formation. Garrett leading the bottom, Anderson leading the top. They've got numbers in both lanes, about 6 or 7 lined up in the third groove, about a dozen down on the inside line. And now Chuck McClure moves to the inside. As we documented, those 5 drivers that are in the hunt for the championship, they all started at the same amount of points. McClure, Metallic, Jeffries, Sullins, and Schilling. And it's not a win-and-you're-in situation here for these final 2 races. It is only who can accumulate the most points between now and Talladega next week. A win is giving you max points, so I guarantee you all 5 playoff drivers would love to win tonight, as we've got a big wreck in the Tri-Oval, second big one of the evening.
Oh yeah, that looked humongous.
It's like half the field it looked like.
I see the 23 in it again.
Josh Metallic was in it, one of our playoff drivers. He got through that first big one, not so lucky this time.
Oh, I have to see what kind of my voice. Gosh, I'll have to see what kind of damage he has here. That wreck was so powerful it ruined my voice for a second.
Terry Bombard, who's fighting Brian Schilling, and the Bracket Challenge Championship was involved in this as well. And it looks like it might have actually started with the 10 car here through the entrance of the Tri-Oval. More stack up, it looks like. John Godfrey into the back of Terry, shoots him down into Kelly Causey, and it's on from there. Who was that just went straight down to the inside wall? Looks like that might have been the 74 of Robert Spring. I think he pancaked the left side of his Toyota.
After this, I was just told that Donnie Garrett made contact with somebody. I don't know if that was another wreck or not, but we should check that out after this.
All right, we'll take a look at that afterwards. Here's a look at the bump again, just redirects him down. Ooh, look how close Rodney Sullins was to getting swept up in that.
That is the worst place to bump somebody, right there, right in the middle of the Tri-Oval. That's about the result you're going to get every time.
Metallic looks like he might be okay. Little contact with the front end, went around off the nose of, I think it might have been Mike Mangialardi. I want to just look real quickly here from the back of Rodney Sullins. And take a look at how close he was to getting clipped in the right rear.
Oh,
Right behind him there, that's Bob Seminary and Ken Roberts. They did a great job of avoiding that spinning car as well. Same for Greg Palmer in the 22. See if we can find out what happened with the 77 of Donnie Garrett.
him in the 31 made contact right in front of him, I believe it was.
Crossed the line in the 5th position. This must have been on the back straightaway. Oh, yeah. Little contact there between Garrett and Bernie Mobbs as they were slowing down the back straightaway. And a little bumper hook. Ooh, oh. That's not a light hit for Bernie Mobbs.
Yeah, not quite sure what happened there. I don't know if Mobbs slowed down and Donnie didn't in time, or something going on between those two. But that's a lot. Looks like a lot of damage to the 31 car.
Let's take another look from the aerial view. These drivers all probably throwing in the clutch as they were waiting for the pace car to pick them up on the back straightaway. Oh, it looks like Donnie got down on the apron and got loose. And that's what got him up into the left rear quarter panel there, Bernie Mobbs.
Just something that happens sometimes under pacing.
Yep. I have to see, though, that's front end contact for Bernie's Citgo Chevrolet. Certainly not at speed as the drivers were welling up on the back straightaway, but we always talk about aero damage and how it's going to affect you, your abilities to stay up in the lead pack, especially to lead a lane to the front. We'll have to keep tabs on that 31 car, see if he's going to be okay for the remainder of this one. Jeremy Jeffries stays out, leads a lap. Saw some gamesmanship in these previous rounds of playoff contenders giving up track position to be able to get that lap-led bonus point. Who knows? We've seen it before. I go back to the season when Richard Martin won the championship here. Didn't win a single race all season and won the championship by 1 point. That one lap-led bonus point here in these two races could be the difference maker between being champion and being runner-up.
Yep, and that's all it takes. 1 point per position, so that's what, 2? It'd be 1 position on the racetrack, so it's why we always mention that track position is key here. You know, it's easy to run around a track and say, oh, well, I'm just going to try to finish top 10. When you're in a championship on the line, you got to try to get up to the front ASAP.
Yeah, I mean, how many? Yeah, but how much? Like, you look at what's happened in the playoffs here. I mean, twice we've seen an extra driver advance to the next round due to the points being as tight as they are. So, I mean, yeah, just a single point can make a huge difference.
Was supposed to be a round of 8, it was a round of 9. Was supposed to be a final 4, it's a final 5, so you're right. I mean, it even got to the point there in those elimination races where we kind of threw up our hands and were like, we think this is who the people are that are advancing, but please don't take our word for it because the points are so close. We got to wait for the calculations.
Usually you're the one that does those calculations, but, you know, math.
I've been fairly right this season so far, but, man, I don't know what the situation would be. There's every possibility for a scenario of a tie for the championship. I don't know what the situation would be. In terms of a tiebreaker, would there be co-champions? I don't know. With 2 races here, let's say that a driver ends up finishing 3rd tonight and 17th next week. A driver finishes 17th tonight and 3rd next week. They tie in points for the points lead. What do you do in that situation?
I think it would go to your best average finish, I would think. Or
maybe if you have, I don't know, or if you had a win in this round. I don't know. I'm really not sure what the tiebreaker is. Chuck McClure got himself a bonus point for a lap led as well, as he'll be leading us to green here over Jessica Shelton, Jovan Anderson, Denny Carroll, and Brian Lovell.
If that were to happen, I think they should settle it if he did in cars.
Run another race?
Yeah, why not?
Just those 2?
Yeah,
Two race super speedway race. Let's go.
Nope. You mean a 2 lap? Two-lap super
Two-lap,
speedway race.
two-car super speedway race.
Yep. Flying purple people eaters.
Grant Wesley going to lead that inside line. Got some good progress there. Got that the Spirito behind him there, or is
Yes,
that?
it is. Rodney Sullins and Bob Seminara as well. Rodney getting into this final 5. A couple seasons ago, Rodney Sullins was in the final 4 to compete for the championship, so back in the hunt here in the final round of the playoffs. As we mentioned, he's the only driver of the final 5 that has not formally won a championship here in the Tally Challenge. Jeremy Jeffries has won. Josh Metallic, I believe, has won. Might have multiple. I have to double check on that. Brian Schilling and Chuck McClure have won the championship multiple times.
Now Jessica Laureley's going to lead that inside line. Well, as soon as I say that, Joven just turns to the inside and
got tight there on the bottom. Some contact between himself and Chuck McClure coming off of turn 4. That was close.
Always is. You got to be sure to time your moves just right. Here comes the outside lane.
Look who's leading it. Sean Prime in that RTG Chevrolet. It's interesting because, you know, back before, Sean Prime always drove with the RTG sponsorship. Bare Bones Racing Series, when he drove the 15, he would have that sponsorship on that race car. Rodney Sullins made this car for Bones, and Sean told me he was quite jealous to see that flashy paint scheme with the RTG logo on it, but driving it here tonight, giving it a great run in memory of David Cannon, and up here inside of the top 10. Went back to victory lane for the first time in quite a while in that fuel mileage race that Kyle documented about. Would love to be a multi-time winner here in season 65, as that third lane's now become the middle line. The third line is almost completely evaporated. Well, now looks like it's forming up back there, but outside of the top 10.
it's a lot of green up front. I mean, we can't see what Joven's paint scheme really is, but got the 9 car, got the 88.
If I had to guess, one of 2 schemes, either a 193 Voiles Trucking Bright Blue machine or the Dave Blaney Amoco scheme. I'm not sure which one. Being a Ford, I think it'd probably be the Voiles Trucking car.
Say, I can't picture Joven being anything but that Amoco car that Blaney had, but
Grant Wesley, good run on that outside line. Did he snipe the lead from Joven? No, he did not that lap, Joven.
He almost did, though.
It was
that was
close.
very close.
Scoring
Rodney
wasn't even
Sullins.
sure for a moment. Oh,
no trouble.
Big wreck in the middle of the pack. We got one
Couple
up into
of
the
cars
catch
upside
fence.
down.
Kelly Causey, Pat
Causey.
McCarsky, and Jeremy Jeffries, playoff driver in the middle of that.
See him blinking. I'm hoping this wasn't a what do you call it?
A connection issue, a warp
Yes,
issue maybe?
I don't know why I couldn't think of the word. I was thinking gap whack for a second, then I remembered we're not iRacing.
Well, I mean, same thing.
That's true.
A lot of damage to Kelly Causey. I'm shocked he was able to drive that thing. I saw him do it. Looked like a barrel roll a couple of times there and got up in the air. So
He and Pat McCarsky in the 197. Looks like the issue for Jeremy may have settled itself out, but how much damage did he get in the process in that wreck? Let's go back and take a look in the exit of turn number 2. Oh, yep. Definitely disappeared. We're going to have to go back and focus. Let's focus on the 00, because I believe he actually disappears before they even get to turn 1. Yeah, it's past the start-finish line. Watch for the white, blue, and black number 1 in the middle line behind Brian Schilling. Right there is where he disappears. He doesn't reappear until they make their way 2 corners later over here into the center of turn 2.
that is such a terrifying feeling. You see a car disappear. You know it's going to reappear. You just don't know where it's going to be.
It's a terrifying feeling when you're that car that disappears too, because you don't know where the field's going to be when you reappear. And especially when you're going into a corner. If it's on a straightaway, the back straightaway, the front straightaway, it's easy choice. Then for Jeremy Jeffries, just dive it down onto the apron. But you're going into a corner. Where in the world do you go? Because you're carrying so much speed. If you try and dive it down to the apron, there's every likelihood it's going to shoot your car up the racetrack. And then where do you appear in the field?
Just a terrible break for everybody involved right there for Jeffries, and then everybody else to get caught up in that deal.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it happens.
Take
One
one more
thing
look at
that's-
it here with the camera focused on the machine of Pat McCarsky once again from our spectator cam.
The one thing that's inevitable in super speedway racing is a big wreck. Not just one, but sometimes can be multiple.
Glenn Harris in the middle of that as well. As you said, Kyle, it's amazing that Kelly Causey was able to drive away from the incident, as was Pat McCarsky. We'll have to see if they're able to continue on, but I would be very surprised if either of those drivers are going to be up to speed for the remainder of this race.
Well, stranger things have happened. We've seen that before. Cars, flip over like that. We're thinking, oh, they're done for, and then somehow they're able to keep up with the pack. So we'll see what happens here.
Looks like they took a bit off the rear bumper of Kelly Causey's Chevrolet, but he is going to come back out. They've beaten out the driver's side door. Pat McCarsky has also left pit road. Billy Elliser, who we know is off the pace, was involved in that first wreck and had some engine damage, also on pit lane, along with Glenn Harris. Looking for the one of Jeremy Jeffries. There he is. I believe pit road was open that first time around. Jeremy will probably come to pit road on the second lap here to take the EOL for causing the incident. Car does look relatively clean though, so he may have dodged a bullet there, being right in the middle of that big wreck off of turn 2.
He would still be penalized even though it was a connection issue?
Just basically in the fact that he was the reason for the caution, yes.
It all stems
okay.
down into one section of the rule book.
Cody Lamas onto pit road, no surprise. Now it looks like we're going to have a team wrecking ball front row when we go back green. Graham McDonald will be on the inside, Doug Hewlick up on the outside line. Chevrolets will line up behind them with Donnie Garrett and Robert Breedlove. Then it will be Grant Wesley completing the top 5. Jovan Anderson 6th. Rodney Sullivan 7th. Joe DeSpirito will be 8th. Brian Lovell in 9th. And Bob Seminara is going to complete the top 10. Brian Lovell started this race from the pole position, has that number 1 pit stall, has remained up here inside the top 10 almost the entirety of this race in that Chevrolet Corvette. We've got someone in our chat, Pumpkin Vine, saying that our ticker is not working. Yet we are aware of that. The only way that we would be able to get it working would be to stop and restart the stream. So unfortunately, we will not have a working ticker here tonight. So apologies for that inconvenience. We do have our lap counter up here for everybody, and we're going to try and do our best here to just keep you guys aware, especially of where those 5 playoff drivers are during the course of this race, and especially as we get closer to the finish of this first race of the final round. Check our unofficial ticker here real quick. I believe Keith Bynum is the only driver out of the race. Also add in the 82 of Craig Hagley, also out of the race. If people would like me to bring up the in-game ticker to show the top 10, let me know in the chat. We can do that if people would like that. It updates every time that they cross the start-finish line. If people would like that as an indicator, we can definitely do that for you all tonight, since the official scrolling ticker is not working. Halfway through tonight's race, lap 33 going to be completed by driver 33. as Graham McDonald will get ready to put us back underway into the second half of this race. At least one pit stop that these drivers will have to make before the conclusion of tonight's first race of the round of 5.
Yep. And it still baffles me every time I hear you say that because, like you said, me and you, Seth, we're both known for the Final Four. So
Yep.
I don't think there's been a season where we've had 2 ties in the final playoffs. Like, you know, in the playoffs in general, the rounds. I don't think there's ever been 2 back-to-back ties like this before.
No 2 back-to-back, and to my knowledge, we've never had a Final 5 here in RTG. It's always been the Final 4. This is a first.
Saw Donnie Garrett go from the bottom to the top. Wanting to take the lead here. He's side by side with the 33.
Got a Chevy pushing a Toyota on the bottom, a Toyota pushing a Chevy on the top.
Looks like Graham McDonald barely led that lap over Donnie Garrett.
I noticed the third line forming back there. Brian Schilling was one of the first to jump up. Got some more going up there, including Joe DeSpirito, Bob Seminara. Here comes Jovan Anderson. All of a sudden, everyone's abandoning the middle line.
Except for the 2 cars that are stuck there.
Garrett and Hewlick, McClure and Dante Ricci a little further back, and as well as Jeff Crivello, all trapped in that middle lane, coming out of the proverbial sucker hole. Normally we'll see it move its way to the front, but when that third line forms, it stalls out all the momentum of that middle groove.
Tim Knopsker jumping. Tim Knopsker jumps to that middle line, but now he's got the 28 behind him.
Mark Paglia, got Greg Palmer also jumped up there. Josh Metallic, who was involved in one of the earlier wrecks, has now made his way up here into the vicinity of the top 10, one of our 5 playoff contenders.
I told you he didn't get a lot of damage.
Unofficially up in the 8th spot, Rodney Sullins moving up to that outside line as he sees Knopsker approaching. Rodney looking for a lap-led bonus point here this evening. I believe so far only 2 of our final 5 contenders have led laps here tonight, that being Jeremy Jeffries and Chuck McClure. Just
battling it out
here. We're gonna, if
you
we
in
end
quick
up
math
this, yeah, I do quick math, I do slow math, and I do them both just as poorly as the other.
What about Steiner math?
You know, most often it equates out to Steiner math, so yeah, I do that too. But it looks like that final pit stop is going to be somewhere in the vicinity of 10 to 12 laps to go. The proverbial money stop, and we'll have to wait and see if it's going to be under green or not. Jovan Anderson's been kicked up to the 3rd groove. He's going to the back. And just moments ago, Pat McCarskey, who was involved in that big wreck off of 2, got airborne up into the catch fence, brought his machine to pit road, left-hand turn to the garage. He'll join Keith Bynum and Craig Hagley in the garage area here this evening.
Rodney Sullins did indeed get that bonus point for leading a lap.
So 60% of our remaining playoff drivers have that bonus point.
Wow, that was good math, and that was almost Steiner math.
Getting a good push there from Tim Knopsker.
Towards the rear of the field here, Ellis are off the pace. Same for Kelly Causey. Looks like they're the only 2 stragglers. Robert Spring, Glenn Harris, they've been involved in a couple of incidents tonight. Still able to stay up here in this lead pack.
So tell me, Seth, if the Final Four were always to have a 25% chance at winning the championship, what does the Final 5 have, and what kind of Steiner math can you come up with?
Well, if the final 5 have a 20% chance and there's 2 races, then they have a 10.5% chance with 66 laps, which would equal about maybe 4.3%. Good enough for you?
Just about, yeah.
I confused myself, so I guess I must have done a good job.
Say, I'll go with it. I'll take your word for it. Coming up on the 26th of Billy Elliser. Oh boy, close for a couple of guys there.
Tight four wide into the narrow entry of turn 1, but looks like they all make it through safely. Greg Palmer going to get shuffled out here now as Joe DeSpirito moves to the middle line with help from Seminara, Roberts, and Waugh.
Luigi.
Yeah, we talk about bonus points as well. How about the bonus point for leading the most laps? Rodney Sullins would love to be able to lock up that bonus point as a playoff contender, which in a sense would kind of negate the bonus point lap led by both Chuck McClure and Jeremy Jeffries. Have some more people in our chat showing their love and support for David Cannon, Milt Surratt, as well as Craig Hagley, who said regrets he wasn't able to reach the conclusion of tonight's event as he was caught up in that big wreck that brought out the first caution. But seemed appropriate here tonight with the turnout that we had ourselves a 41 car full field in this race. As we mentioned, first race of the final 5, this final round of the playoffs, but more importantly, racing in memoriam of David Bones Cannon. And a lot of names that we haven't seen in a while, a couple of drivers that we've seen in the past making their return here this evening.
One of them's leading that far outside line right there, Jovan Anderson, that bright green car. Well, he was. As soon as I say that, a couple cars jumped up in front of him.
Looks like Jeremy Jeffries, who had those connection problems that brought out our last yellow. Looks like he's got that sorted out. He's the wingman of the 193 in that third lane. Dante Ricky, nice to see him back in the field here tonight. That red and white Wawa Toyota Supra. About maybe at the most 13 laps away from green flag pit stops. You documented, Kyle, that we've seen here at Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway a lot of fuel strategy races. That would put us right around the window of 10 laps to go. Drivers would have to make the crucial decision. Do I stay on pit road for just one can of fuel, or do I get that added security, give up a little bit of track time to be able to put in that extra half can to make absolutely certain I'm going to be able to make it to the checkers?
Boy, it always seems to come down to that.
And if you're one of the final 5, do you even consider taking the can? Or are you full can and a half the whole way?
Oh, you've got to. You've got to try everything you can. And that's going to be one of it, is judging just how good your fuel mileage calls are.
The one at the biggest disadvantage, we're looking at him right there, our race leader, Rodney Sullins. Out front leading, using up more fuel than everybody else. So maybe he might be forced to take that extra can, half can or whatever it is that he'll need.
Great point. Right now, Rodney is the highest running of our final 5. Next highest would be Josh Metallic, who crossed the line in 9th last time by. Looks like that is still where he is scored. Jeremy Jeffries, right now the 3rd highest running of the playoff drivers, as he last time by was scored in 15th. Right behind him, Brian Schilling, who's in 17th place. And where in the world did Chuck McClure go? There he is. They make their way on Kelly Causey. He was scored in 22nd last time by. All 5 drivers appear to be up to speed in this lead pack and may have to rely on pit road execution here to determine who's going to be the points leader going into our final race next Thursday night. when we're at the place that's pretty much been the determining factor all season long. It opened up the season, it closed out the regular season, it's been the venue of all our elimination races, and it ultimately will decide the championship. Talladega Superspeedway next Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Just in talking about fuel, 9 car just told me that she's looking at 8 projected laps, and it's going back and forth between 2 cans and a can and a half. So
That's interesting.
I think
Let's go to
most,
2
well,
cans.
speaking of,
Graham McDonald might have hit the inside wall there. He, along with Breedlove, Hewlick, and Garrett. Now, I believe these are drivers that stayed out a couple of cautions ago and hadn't come to pit road since, so they're having to make the dive here at 20 laps remaining. The window is open to make it the rest of the way, so a quartet of drivers on pit road here at this point in time. That'll be the final time they'll need to come to pit road in this race.
they can go 20 laps?
Barely. 19 to
About to
20.
say, I
If you're
thought
the
maybe-
leader, you can't go 20. But it is possible to save enough on a run to go 20 laps max. We've seen
Thought
some
about-
drivers go 21, but it's super rare. Hewlick leaving pit road. Drivers are able to merge up here in turn 1. Double wide, 3 wide, a little further back, and to make things tight. Looks like they're going to organize that 3 wide to double wide here as they make their way down the back straightaway. All those cars that came off of pit road staying down on the lower set of hash marks as the field up to speed thunders by them in the upper 2 grooves.
All that going on, them going around the slower cars, that's allowed Josh Metallic get a good run on the outside, challenge on these Solins for the race lead.
Could he be the 4th playoff driver to lead a lap here tonight? That would
Oh,
leave
he did.
just
He led the
Jeremy
last
Jeffries.
lap.
Or no, I'm sorry, not Jeremy Jeffries, Brian Schilling.
He
Oh,
was
you're
scored as the
correct.
leader the last lap, so
Yep.
there it is.
And there is that bright blue number 4, Brian Schilling, right there as well. So you've now, it's funny how this works out, right? Because wasn't it, what was it, the elimination race? No, it was the first race of the round of 9. And we had, I think it was 8 of our 9 playoff drivers up inside of the top 10. You've now got 4 of your playoff contenders up here inside of the top 5. The 39, the 1, the 38, the 4, and the 17's not that far back. He's the 7th car on that outside line.
What's that saying? The cream rises to the top.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Here
here
we
we
go.
go. Rodney Solins and Nofsker and a bunch of others coming down pit road this time.
Paglia, Ken Roberts, Bob Seminara, Bob Dixon, and Mike Mangialardi. Ooh, Roberts overshot his pit stall there. That's going to cost him some valuable time. Interesting. Some of these drivers electing to pit when the window opens rather than go the furthest they can. This says to me that maybe everybody's going to have to take on 2 cans of fuel. It doesn't really matter when you pit. I think we got more coming down pit road this time. I'm seeing some more radios lighting up. Let's see who's got their hands out the window. And will be coming down onto the apron here. Oh, it's a bunch of them. Metallic, Jeffries, Wesley. Ooh, Sean Prime really
Prime.
hot coming in. Oh, he's going to
Oh,
get the
boy.
41 of Denny Carroll. The 21 of Randy Wallach and Chuck McClure have to maneuver his way by.
Oh,
Bobby Farrell, Jessica Shelton making some contact. Bernie Mobbs is backwards on pit road. No caution. Everything on pit road. We stay green. Looks like most of our playoff drivers that pitted there were able to either be ahead or get through all of the melee. Chris Elliott's now the new race leader in that Food Lion Chevrolet Camaro, the 09. Drivers slicing and dicing their way around the slower traffic. Here comes Billy Elliser and Chris Elliott, Joe DeSpirito, John Godfrey. It makes me nervous every time these guys hot pit here because I'm always afraid they're going to overshoot in speed. Jeff Crivello and Cy Jones in this lap.
Starting to wonder, does that technique, is there more good than bad, or what when it comes to that? I think you're just risking way too much.
If you don't
trying
get
to-
busted for speeding, it's good. If you get busted for speeding, it's bad.
Yeah.
There is definitely an art to it, and we've seen some of the best in the business even make mistakes when it comes to hot pitting. As Ulysses Sandoval, Cody Lamas elect to stay out a little bit longer. See if they run it to as far as they can. Nope, they're coming in this time. I believe that's going to be the last of the drivers that need to pit here to cycle this thing out. Ooh, Cody with an overshoot. Sean Prime back down pit road. I'm assuming probably a speeding penalty for him as he was quite hot coming into pit road entry. And this, I believe, is where the race lead may cycle around to with the 088 of Tim Nofsker. Here comes Rodney, looking to the bottom, trying to take advantage with less cars in this pack.
I could help.
Oh, no!
You got a speeding penalty, it looks like.
So too
And
did Greg Palmer. Oh, that is a killer for Rodney Sullins. As we're approaching 10 laps to go and time is rapidly closing in on that window to be able to be saved with a caution flag, get back into this thing. Last thing Rodney wants to do is give away points, especially when you look up here. You've got Jeremy Jeffries, Brian Schilling, and Josh Metallic all inside of the top 7. Tim Nofsker, a 3-time winner this season, tied for most wins with Ulysses Sandoval. I would love to stand alone for most wins on the season with 4. No longer in the playoffs conversation, was eliminated back in that last round, which I talk about it all the time. You know, you want the pressure of battling for the championship because you want to be in the hunt. But when you are eliminated, there is a sense of relief that allows you to be a little bit more aggressive in trying to finish out the season with as many checkered flags as possible. And we could see that be the case here for Nofsker. Right behind him, that bright yellow number 28 of Mark Paglia. He has had a season to forget. He has struggled. He's been caught up in numerous wrecks. He's not been able to reach the conclusion of races with a clean race car. It would be a nice little silver lining in what's been a gray cloud of season 65 if he's able to park that machine in victory lane here near the close of this season. As looks like Sean Prime, having to serve that pass through, is going to fall a lap down here to the race leaders. He'll be the first car 1 lap down. We'll try and document who the first 2 cars are 1 lap down that could be spared if we were to get a yellow pretty soon. Looks like Sean is the first car 1 lap down. Second car 1 lap down currently would be Glenn Harris, though that could change as drivers make their way around him.
That's about a 9-car breakaway up front.
Roughly, yes.
So there's a lot of drivers out here hoping for a caution flag to get caught back up and get a chance at this thing.
Yeah, looks like 8 cars now as Sean Prime unable to stay with this pack. All 8 of these drivers on the lead lap. And look at some of the names we've got here. You've got the playoff drivers in Jeremy Jeffries. He's 3rd. Brian Schilling, 6th. Josh Metallic in 7th. But you got Nofsker leading. Paglia in 2nd. Grant Wesley, who was also eliminated in that last round. He sits 4th. Jovan Anderson, his first start on the season, currently holding down 5th place. And then tail end of this pack, you got the Florida gang there with Bob Seminara and Joe DeSpirito. Gonna be 10 to go this time by. Everybody should be able to make it on fuel now. Question will be, do we run these final 10 laps under green, or do we see a caution shake things up? Looking at this pack here, They're running around the 48 flat second mark. Let's see about this second pack. They're running roughly about the same. Low 48 flats. 48.07s and 8s. Certainly have more cars lined up here in this pack, which you would think means they would produce more speed. We'll check the lap times this time, Bias. Maybe it took these guys a little bit of time. Maybe we're just seeing them now getting organized. Maybe they were in the process of getting organized here just before we checked in on them. 47.954 now for McClure. This pack, a lot of them 47.96s. So incredible as it may seem, smaller pack, but they are, it may be only by hundreds, maybe even by thousands, but they're actually running faster lap times than a pack that has more cars. And I think at this point in time, if you're this group of nine or eight, group of, it is 9 cars, group of 9 cars, I think you run single file until you get maybe around that point of no return. Continue to open up the distance between yourself and that second pack. Settle it amongst yourselves.
Not to say I certainly wouldn't, wait till the last lap to make a move. I'd be making it a lot sooner than that.
With it not being a win and you're in situation now with this final round, you kind of look at where Jeremy Jeffries, Brian Schilling, Josh Metallic are at right now. They're all within striking distance of each other. You know that they've got each other singled out as that's the car or the cars that I want to finish ahead of. May not necessarily even be for the win. It may be to finish third. It may be to finish fourth. But you want to have that points lead going into next week. You got to wonder, if you're Jeremy Jeffries, currently there in that third position, if you're maybe looking for max points, or are you just looking for a solid points night? Because we've seen so many times drivers that are positioned to finish inside of the top 5, the top 10, make moves in the closing stages, and it may not work out. You get involved in a wreck, you fall outside of the top 15, the top 20. All of a sudden, what was going to be a solid night becomes a net loss, not only in on-track positions, but also in points. And points, more than wins, I believe, are important here in this final round.
A couple of guys are thinking about just that. You got Jeremy Jeffries up there. You've got Brian Schilling. Everybody else, though, what do they have to lose in this situation? Josh Metallic as well. I didn't see him up there at first, but
trying to get something going there, tail end of this pack. Metallic, Seminara, and Despirito, they all moved up there to that second groove, trying to see if they can draw any of those drivers ahead of them to move up and help tow them along. They're able to generate a run, but Metallic's not able to stay alongside of Brian Schilling. That's 6 cars on the bottom to just 3 cars up there on the top. They need more numbers up there to be able to help them.
surprised Jovan Anderson wouldn't jump out there. What does he have to lose? This is his first start of the season. In fact, when was the last time he even ran in this series?
It's been a while. I honestly, off the top of my head, couldn't tell you the last start he made here. I know that he, a couple of seasons ago, ran a good portion of the schedule in the Bare Bones Racing Series, but in terms of here in the Talladega Challenge Series, I don't remember when his last start was.
28 car just got shuffled out a second right there. I think he tried to make a move and nobody went with him, but I thought he would be up there with Metallic and Seminara and Despirito, but he gets right there behind Brian Schilling.
Jeremy Jeffries shuffling him out. Here comes Schilling up to that outside line. Schilling's always been an advocate for that third lane, and oh, look at this. Drivers realizing that top 4, they move up to that middle line. Schilling will dive low on Jovan Anderson. Gets a nice shove. You can see the car kind of jolt to the side a bit there. That was massive contact of Metallic's front bumper to Schilling's back bumper. Is Schilling looking
Comes
for back-to-back
Jeffries.
victories here?
Jeffries looking for the lead.
Knopfsker now pinned on the inside line. Grant Wesley going to push that white, blue, and black Monster Energy Chevrolet to the point. Jeremy Jeffries, I remember back to a season where Jeremy ended up winning 3 straight races at Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway. He's been very good at this racetrack, and Jeremy is still... No, correction, Jeremy is looking for his second win on the season.
We saw him have connection issues earlier in the
Yeah.
race, end up causing a wreck. Now he's up front battling for the win.
Had to work his way from the back up to the front after he took the EOL penalty. Big gap back here. Knopfsker, Schilling, and Paglia. I don't know if this is them trying to save fuel, if maybe they went only with the can and a half, or are they laying back, hoping that that'll help them to generate a run on the front. I think that's exactly what they were doing. I think they were trying to let the draft tow them along to have enough energy, enough momentum to be able to make a charge up there on the top. Metallic's gotten himself alongside of Despirito. He's now alongside of Bob Seminara. They're making some good ground up there for being just 3 cars. They've lost touch with Mark Paglia.
Seminara dives to the inside now. He's got help from Joe Despirito. Talk about that. Those two always run well together.
If Metallic and his group can make it 3 wide, they might be able to make something happen. Well, now that Seminara and Despirito have dropped back, maybe not. Because we've always seen that third line be able to advance on the middle line, as there's the white flag displayed. 1 lap to go here from Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway. Grant Wesley, Jovan Anderson, Bob Seminara. Does anybody have a move for Jeremy Jeffries? How aggressive will he be in blocking? Looks like Grant, at least for the moment, content to push Jeremy. Might be waiting to the final set of corners. He's backing off a little, is Grant. Trying to get a run. Jovan's going to step up. Help from Seminara, but I think they're way too far back. Caution's out as well. Race is over. Checkers waves, and Jeremy Jeffries is going to pick up his 2nd win on the season. It's not a win and you're in, but he's definitely going to get just about the maximum points you can. He'll obviously have the points lead going into next week, as he's looking for his 2nd championship here in the Talladega Challenge Series.
Saw there was a wreck on that last lap that brought out the caution.
They had already taken the white flag, so they raced back to the checkers despite that yellow flag coming out, as Jeremy Jeffries getting the congratulatory bumps there. Saw Brian Schilling, Josh Metallic, there's Chuck McClure, all playoff contenders against Jeremy for that championship. They know they got their work cut out for them next week. And 2nd time this season, Jeremy Jeffries is going to come down here to the start-finish line and do some celebrating here tonight. 2nd win of the season, 1st win of the playoffs. And we may get ourselves some dual burnouts here, as here comes that 003 of Sean Prime as well.
Is that a number 3 that Jeffries made with the burnout there?
It might very well have been. I'm not certain. And you got the drivers now around that decal once again that we saw when we came on the air here for tonight's broadcast. Hagelin and Prime, Jeffries and Schilling. Wish we had a better camera angle for this outside of the helicopter cam. But it seems appropriate that the race winner parks it right there on that decal here tonight. take a quick look back, see what the caution was that came out on the final lap. Try and use the pace car as an indicator of the time that yellow flag waved. Looks like it was in the tri-oval coming back to the start-finish line. Drivers in that second pack.
Oh, looked like
is that 4 wide?
Like Ulysses got stuffed into the wall there, and Ken Roberts barrel rolling on the front stretch here.
May have to go back a little bit. It almost looked like maybe Graham McDonald got out of shape. Oh, never mind. We've just lost NR.
Well then.
Of all the nights to be having these technical problems here, we'll wait to re-enter into the server here. We should, I think, still have your full results for you. I hope. Should at least have a portion of them, although I'm not certain with drivers disconnecting from the server, we may not actually have the results for you here. Take a look and see if we have anything to go off of here. It doesn't look like it. It looks like our finishing results are all skewed with drivers that have disconnected and everything, so apologies for that. Boy, everything that could go wrong seems to be going wrong for us technologically here tonight, but that unfortunately will just bring us into our FRM post-race wind down. We do have our podium finishers for you, with Jeremy winning, Grant second, Joven in third. We can document that of your playoff contenders, Josh Metallic finished in 6th, Brian Schilling was 8th, Chuck McClure finished in 10th, and not rightly certain where Rodney Sullins finished. We'll try and see if we can find that out before the conclusion of the night here when we look at the finishing results. So again, apologies for the technical problems that we're having here. At least NR decided to crash at the end of the race rather than in the middle of the race, because that would have not been good. So we are going to now see if we can head down trackside, dial up the drivers that brought it home on the podium here this evening, and let's see if we can kick things off with the driver made his first start in quite a while here in the Talladega Challenge Series, Joven Anderson.
User was moved to your channel.
Hey, Joven, it's Michael, Kyle, and Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got us?
I got you.
Well, man, I mean, somber night, obviously. Great to see you here tonight in the show of support for David Cannon. You bring it home solidly in the 3rd position. Saw you make a move there out of turn 4, but it kind of looked like there just maybe wasn't enough cars in that pack to be able to have enough energy to be able to make a move up there to at least get alongside of the 1.
Yeah, absolutely. It was tough running, tight racing up there, and everyone was kind of getting lined up and positioning themselves the best that they could, and I knew I could have made a move probably sooner on the final lap to see if I could do something with it, but it probably would have made it more difficult to pass for the win. So I'm just happy to and honored not only to have been a part of this race, but finish where I finished.
You know, we talk about in these type of races with this type of atmosphere, unfortunately, the cloud of sadness looming over with the news that we received earlier this morning. How difficult is it when we had the ceremonial pacing laps here tonight, we had the silent lap 3, to then flip the switch and go into racer mode? Because it's got to be that's got to be in the back of your head the entire night, right?
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. Very, very difficult. But I know that up there that's exactly what David Cannon would have wanted us to do. Is go out here and continue forward. So I I'm grateful to have been a part of it.
Well, great to see you out there. Apologies. I don't know if you submitted a car late or not, but with getting everything organized, I didn't really have a chance to cycle through the field, see if there were any schemes I was missing. So you showed up as the slime machine. We'll call you sponsored by Nickelodeon here tonight or something with that bright green Dark Horse Mustang. But very easy to spot on the racetrack, and you bring it home solidly in a podium finish here tonight. Joven, before we let you go, floor is yours for thank you, sponsors, and shoutouts.
Before I do that, if it's okay, I'd like to say a few extra words if that's
Absolutely, go
possible.
right ahead.
I didn't get the opportunity to know David Cannon super well, but the few opportunities I had to talk and get to know David Cannon was truly a blessing. The body of work that he helped create and was at the center of here at RTG is an amazing example and to the entire community. And after all these years, it's awesome that so many people are still able to come together and enjoy this great game. And just from the few conversations I had with Bones, I knew immediately his care, not just for the community, but for every single individual that he interacted with, was second to none. He was just an incredible person, and I was grateful to get to know him as well as I did in the short time I had with him. I just wanted to say thank you to everybody here for allowing me the opportunity to come run. Thank you to you guys for doing this wonderful broadcast. Thank you to Mr. Sean Prime and all the staff and all the drivers here at Rolling Thunder Gaming for putting on this excellent display. I'm kind of lost and dumbfounded for words. I wish I could put them together exactly the way I wanted to, but I hope I got the main point across. So just thank you to everybody here. Thank you to this awesome league for doing everything it's done and will continue to do for a long time. And thank you. Just thank you, everybody. My condolences, and also my condolences from my home league, Bomb Squad Racing, as well. We're all in your thoughts here with you guys, and you're in our thoughts and prayers. And you didn't see it, but thank you for my sponsor, Brian and Kathy Boyles from Boyles Trucking. I did upload the car, but that's okay. I was just honored to be a part of this great event. So thank you guys, thank you everybody, and we'll keep moving forward. Thank you.
Well, Joven, thank you for the kind words here, and congratulations on the great run here tonight. A great showing for you here, making your return over to the Talladega Challenge Series. Third place tonight. Congratulations on the great run here at Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway.
Thank you. Rest in peace, Bones, and my condolences to the entire Cannon family and everyone here at RTG. Thank you guys, and take care.
Absolutely. This Joven Anderson, third place here
User
tonight.
was moved out of your channel.
Of course, echo every sentiment that we're hearing here tonight, whether it be in our YouTube chat or what we're hearing here from the drivers. Let's dial up the driver that brings it home second place here tonight. Let's get a hold of Grant Wesley.
User was moved to your
Hey, Grant,
channel.
it's Michael, Kyle, and Seth up here in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you.
Man, I mean, somber night. I was just talking with Joven how it's incredible how we're able to flip a switch and go from the pacing laps here, the silent lap on the opening green flag lap of lap 3, and then somehow able to transition into racer mode. Let's talk about the closing stages of this race here. You had your XFM teammate right there with you. It looked like you were pretty committed to his back bumper. You had that move up there to the outside, third and fourth place. Did you maybe consider jumping out there, trying to see if you could pick up a victory, because you don't have the championship looming over you here in these final two races?
Yeah, this is the final leg of the chase for the championship. He's our one and only in it. So tonight was all about getting him that win. I apologize to my sponsors, my friends and family that was watching, hoping that I'd get that win. But tonight was getting that one car up front and following him. So, but I think he was going to earn it either way. He drove a really great race.
We talked about the fact we could go back to the round of 9, and there was points in several of those 2 races where 7 or 8 of you were up inside of the top 10. Here tonight, maybe a little bit before, we ended up having them get broken up a bit after the cycle green flag pit stop, so we had about 4 of the final 5 up in the conversation of the top 5 and for the race win. When you're the X factor in that type of a situation, how difficult and or easy does it make it in terms of the moves that you make in relation to those drivers around you that are in the hunt for the championship?
Yeah, honestly, as someone that's been in the chase a lot of times, kind of what I expect and what I put forth whenever I'm not there is just race everybody the same way. Frankly, whenever you start looking at guys and racing guys individuals differently, especially in a super speedway, that's when you make mistakes that you didn't intend to make. So you always race everybody with courtesy and just race them the way you'd like to be raced. So yeah, I just kind of pay that forward, especially in the chase.
Well, a great run for you nonetheless here, Grant. I mean, obviously, maybe a little something for you to be able to race for, you and those that were eliminated back in that last round. Maybe to see if you can finish out the season 6th in the overall standings, be the highest of those that were eliminated in the final round. But a good step towards that with the runner-up finish here tonight. Ran into, well, I don't think you were necessarily involved, but you definitely were around the conversation of a number of those early wrecks, able to dodge them and bring it home solidly on the podium. Congratulations on that. And before we let you go, we'll now turn it over to you for thank you, sponsors, and shoutouts.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I run this entire season, and I swear I tore my car up every night this season, except for this one. That's the way it works, though. But no, tonight it's all about remembrance of Bones David Cannon. I just want to talk about him for a minute. He's a great guy. I've been racing here since 2017, and he's always been over backwards. I mean, he'd help anybody, new guys getting started. Myself, once upon a time, he helped get me going. We started doing knockout queue here on Thursdays, and anytime we had to knock someone out where they couldn't race, he was the first one to step out. He was just a great guy, great example of a human being. He's going to be missed for sure. Moving on from not real great about talking. Moving on from that, I just want to thank, forgive me, this part of the interview's notes. So the owners, the late David Cannon, thanks to him. Sean Prime, he's going to carry the torch forward. The Adamans, Josh, Tim, FRN, thank you guys for doing what you do. I watched parts of tonight's broadcast live as it is happening, and it is very touching. You guys done an excellent job there. My teammates with XFM, congratulations to Jeremy Jeffries on the win. Mission accomplished. My friends and family for watching, and my girlfriend Brittany.
Well, Grant Wesley stayed committed to Jeremy Jeffries here tonight. We'll have to see if next week he looks to cap off season 65 with a second trip to Victory Lane as we get ready for next week's season finale at Talladega Superspeedway. Congratulations on the great run here tonight, Grant, and best of luck here in this upcoming final race of season 65.
Thank you.
We're going to be going down to Victory Lane here very shortly, but before we do, with bringing it home solidly inside of the top 10 in 8th position, we have a back-to-back Bracket Series Challenge winner. Let's see if we can dial him up now.
User was moved to your
Brian,
channel.
it's Michael, Kyle, and Seth up here in the FRN booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, hey guys.
Well, Kyle brought up the question. We took the opportunity under one of the caution periods to look first time since back-to-back in 59 to 60 for the seasons that a driver has won this Bracket Challenge Championship in back-to-back seasons. You came in as the defending champion, you held them all back, able to, before we even get to next week's season finale, lock this one up. We talk about consistency, and when we talk about consistency, we always seem to look in the direction of this 4-car. It's been an up and down season during the regular season for you, but you really brought the A game here in the playoffs.
Yeah, luck's been on my side with a lot of it. Just right place, right time. But yeah, I'll take it when I can get it. Even finishing in the top 10, I don't know if it's going to be good enough for what Jeremy did tonight. So congratulations to him on that.
Yeah, you talk about Jeremy getting the win, but still bringing it home with a solid run here this evening. We'll wait to see what the point standings potentially look like heading into that finale race. When I was talking with Grant just moments ago, we mentioned how in the 2 races back in the round of 9, there were about 8 of you that were up inside of the top 10 in both of those races. Here tonight, you had 4 or all 5 of you up inside of the top 10 together. It seems like you guys never can get away from each other, so it makes all of those positions all the more important. Now, as I look at the statistics here, from Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway to Talladega, Talladega has been your strongest track in terms of your finishing positions. How do you think that puts you in the stead of heading into next week, trying to get that championship, trying to get those points caught up there on Jeremy?
Well, just keep doing what I'm doing. I don't know why. I just feel a lot more comfortable at Talladega versus BSR, even though on paper they're identical. But it's just one of those comfortable set of shoes, I guess.
Well, Brian, congratulations once again. Good run here tonight to kick off this round of 5 and wrapping up that Bracket Challenge Championship for back-to-back seasons. Before we let you go, we'll give you the opportunity for thank you sponsors and shout-outs.
I'd like to dedicate this to obviously David Cannon, who we lost earlier today. I'm just at a loss of words with that. I knew him for such a long time. Just many a night spent on here talking to each other about just anything and everything. My condolences to his family. Prayers are with them. Also, the Lavelle family, my condolences to them as well for their loss and their family. But like I said, this one's for Bones.
Well, Brian, congratulations on the job well done here tonight, getting that Bracket Challenge Championship, and potentially next week we could see you add another Talladega Challenge Series trophy to that resume as well. Congrats on the great run here tonight, and best of luck next week.
Thank you.
User was moved
And let's
out
now
of your
go
channel.
down to victory lane and dial up tonight's race winner, who will be carrying the points lead into the finale race next week. Let's get a hold of driver number 1 that finishes position number 1, Jeremy Jeffries.
User was moved to
Hey,
your
Jeremy,
channel.
it's Michael, Kyle, and Seth up here in the FRM booth. Got a copy?
I do. I got you guys.
Crazy race here tonight. Incredible circumstances as well. Obviously, there's got to be the elation. There's got to be some relief in getting max points here tonight. But what's the range of emotions going through you there as you took that checkered flag? We saw the memorial there at the beginning of the race. All the drivers congregated around that decal in the infield grass. You went right back to it after the burnout. It's got to be such a strange sensation winning a race under circumstances like this.
It's unlike anything I've ever experienced. It was, I mean, I didn't care about the points. I didn't care about anything at that point. I just was honored to be able to win that race and sit there with the 3-car one more time in the tri-oval.
Obviously, picking up the victory, going to be carrying the points lead into next week. We documented in this final round, a win doesn't guarantee you the championship. So going to have to follow it up when we get to Talladega next week. Looks like right now, closest competitor is 8 points back. How much defense do you maybe look to play next week to preserve that points lead? Or do you think that the best way to play defense is going to be to go full offense again in that season finale race?
I think I don't even really know what to think right now, but um, I would say that as long as I can keep myself up towards the top 5, maybe top 10, that's probably the best strategy, and just try to preserve my car and hope that my internet doesn't do what it did to me earlier in this race.
Yeah, let's talk about that too, because I was going to mention a bit of a comeback here tonight. Had that connection problem, caught up in that wreck over in turn 2. Didn't look like you sustained all that much damage. You took the EOL penalty and very quickly were able to work your way back up to the front of the field. Obviously, a testament to the speed of the race car and your ability to be able to see which line moves. uh, I actually lost track of how long it took for you to get up there to the front. I believe the green flag pit stop cycle held up or helped out quite a bit in that scenario, but the ability to be able to do that if you run into trouble next week, what does that do for the confidence level that you'll be able to work your way back through the field again?
It really helps. I just, there was times that I had runs, I had gaps, and I just took them whether it worked out or not. I just wanted to try to get back up to the front, and it did take that whole run. Luckily, I had a good pit stop there and some good helpers that came out with me, and we were able to maintain. But yeah, it's sometimes you take those risks and they don't work out, and you're like, well, I guess I won't do that again. And sometimes you take them like, wow, that actually worked. Okay, let's try it again. And it's case by case, it's race by race, and you never really know.
Well, we talked about a point during a season where you ended up winning 3 races in a row here at this venue. Your second victory of the season here in season 65 here at this venue. This track has always seemed to be your playground, and able to pick up the victory here tonight, carry the points lead into next week, look to preserve it to win the championship once again here in the Talladega Challenge Series. We wish you luck on that. Congratulations on the victory here tonight. Before we let you get back to victory lane here, we're going to turn the microphone over to you for race winner. Thank you, sponsors, and shoutouts.
I'd like to first off thanks Bones for all he's done for this community, this league, for me personally. Just you couldn't have asked for a better leader, and it was great to have his family here listening and watching with us, and I'm thankful they were able to do that. And Sean too. Sean has been just as good to me, and we built something good here, and I'd like, hopefully we can keep it going. But we've just got such a void now that it's going to take some time to work through. But Bones first and foremost for everything. Grant and Jobin there, it was nice having them back there, and they went with me wherever I went. So held off the challengers, so thanks to Grant and to Jobin. Gosh, I don't know, Josh, Tim, Rodney for putting this series on, all the rest of the staff at RTG, friends, family, and everybody out there that watched and commented tonight. I'm going to try to get through this broadcast when I eventually get to watch it, but it's going to be hard. I'm glad you waited a few minutes to pull me for this interview, because I don't know if I could have done it right away.
That's fair enough. Completely understandable. Well, Jeremy, congratulations on the victory here tonight. Certainly going to be a race that we will certainly be remembering here as well. Congratulations on the victory. We wish you luck next week as you look to add yet another championship trophy to your resume here in the Talladega Challenge Series after a victory here tonight at Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway. Congratulations once again, and we'll be maybe talking to you in Championship Victory Lane in a week's time.
All right, now, and speaking of championships, congrats to Brian on the bracket.
Absolutely. Well, that's Jeremy Jeffries. He is your race winner here tonight from Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway. The unofficial
User was
point
moved out of
standings
your
are
channel.
in. According to what we have here, Jeremy Jeffries will carry 8 points into next week over Josh Metallic. 5 bonus points for winning this race, paying out big, giving him a little bit of breathing space, a little bit of a cushion. Not much, but a little bit. Brian Schilling will sit third in the points. He is 10 points out. Chuck McClure is 12 points back in fourth. And Rodney Sullins, who had the issue with the speeding penalty here tonight, finds himself 31 points back. More than likely a must-win situation next week, though a must-win may not even get it done since, as we mentioned, this is not a win-in-you're-in type system in the final round.
Yeah, I wanted to say this real quick to apologize for being silent, to say that something happened and something very embarrassing.
Okay, you're good.
But that was a great finish, though.
12-point separation amongst 4 drivers there. Rodney in a must-win situation. If we end up having another full field next week as we had here tonight, that's a lot of points on the table. Jeremy is not safe yet. I'll kind of echo the question to you guys that I asked him. If you're Jeremy in this situation, are you playing defense in trying to count cars, trying to count what positions you need to be ahead of your competition, or are you not even worrying about that and just going full offense, get to the front, stay as close to the front as possible?
I think you got to play a little bit of defense. You can't be all, you can't, go into the, the final race with, with like a win or with like a must-win attitude or something. If you're Jeffries, you have a lot to lose there. So, I mean, you could definitely be aggressive. Try to go for the win if you can, but you gotta be smart about this at the same time.
I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth, pretty much. Yeah, you've got to be smart about it. You want to just throw it all against the wall and be like, yeah, let's do this. But you've got to really be smart about it. You don't want to do something that's going to choke away your chance at a championship.
Well, it will be interesting to see what takes place next week. It'll be at Talladega Super Speedway. At the end of 66 laps, we will crown ourselves a Season 65 Talladega Challenge Series champion. We've already crowned ourselves a Bracket Challenge champion in Brian Schilling. Congratulations to him. Want to give a big thank you to everybody that was in our chat here tonight, interacted with condolences, with stories about David Cannon. Really appreciate everybody tuning to our coverage here tonight. As stated, we've covered a couple of these here during the course of the last couple of years. We had the tribute for Robbie Nisus. We've had the tribute for Wiley Coate. Tonight we have the tribute for David Cannon. Also want to throw out a couple of shout-outs for condolences as well. We heard earlier Brian Schilling mention the Lovell family. We understand that Greg and Brian and Dan, their father, passed away in the last couple of days, so send our condolences to them. We'd also like to throw out condolences to our broadcast colleague, Anthony McCrory. His mother passed away middle of last week, so sad time it seems for a number of people here at this portion of the week. So we thank everybody for tuning into the coverage. Shout out to every single one of the drivers that participated here tonight. It's tough enough to be able to be up here, try and remain professional, try and call the race when you've got the thought of what this race is in memoriam of. I cannot imagine having to mentally go into the racer's state of mind while all this is going on. So shout out to all the drivers that participated here tonight in this race as well. And Kyle, Michael, appreciate you guys joining me in the booth here for this one tonight. A tough one to be able to call under the circumstances, but I'm pretty certain that this Monday night, when Sean Prime joins me for the overall season finale for Bare Bones on Monday night, and we come back here for the season finale, the memoriam will continue on here for David Cannon, and just hopefully we can put on the racing, the broadcasting that he loved so much in honor of him here down the home stretch of the remainder of these seasons.
Couldn't agree more with that.
Yeah, I can't believe it either. I completely agree, and can't wait to see what's going to happen in this final race.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all for tuning into our coverage here tonight. Got a full schedule coming up for you next week, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We've got Saturday to cap off here for the Primetime Racing League to cap off this race weekend. A lot of racing still to come here, end of this week into next. For Michael Norman, Kyle Matthews, I'm Seth Cole. For one final time, rest in peace to David Bones Cannon, as you've been watching another broadcast here tonight, courtesy of FRN, the Flatout Racing Network.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of Flatout Racing Network and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Flatout Racing Network and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. Flatout Racing Network would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.